Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be my eye brush declutter. I was actually supposed to film another video today, but then I decided to film this one. I have been pushing this video away. To be honest, it's not the one that I am the most excited to film, but I still do want to film this because I did declutter my face brushes. I am on a journey to kind of like having less and curating my life. I do have all of my eye brushes over here. I'm going to do the same thing that I did in my face brush declutter, and by the way the video is linked down below if you want to see it. But I'm going to sort my brushes to 3 different categories. Brushes that I'm going to keep and that I'm going to put back to this holder. So those are brushes that are part of my daily, or maybe if not daily, I would say weekly routine. Then some brushes maybe I still want to keep, but they are not part of my current routine, and I'm going to put them to this makeup bag and I'm going to store this away. I do have here some face brushes too. And then there is finally going to be brushes that I'm going to declutter, and to be honest, I'm probably not going to declutter that much of brushes. I think I'm going to keep most of them, but there are for sure some that I'm going to declutter. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm trying to go through these brushes in categories. So let's start with eyebrows, and I do have 2 brushes that are eyebrow brushes for me. So first is the #12 brow brush from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So this is an angled brush in the other head, and in the other head there is this spoolie. This is a really nice brow brush in my opinion because it is angled and it is quite thin. I must say that I don't think this one is in as good condition what it used to be. I bought this maybe almost 3 years ago when I bought the dip brow pomade, and I have finished up the whole dip brow pomade, and this is the only brush I have been using with that one, so I have used this a lot. Nowadays I do use this with brow powder, and I'm going to keep this brush. Then I do have this brush from ABH Cosmetics. It is from their Rose Romance brush set, and this is the brush number 11, and it is like an angled brush. I guess you could also use it to eyeshadow, but I personally don't use this kind of brushes to apply eyeshadow. So this is something I would apply brow powder with, but I don't like this one as much as the ABH one. It's not as precise. I don't want to keep this. Then I do have here one concealer brush. I know concealer is like a face makeup product. However, this brush I use to kind of like clean up the underbrow. This one is from Essence, and I believe it is their concealer brush. The writing has worn off. I'm going to keep this. Then I do have here a couple of brushes from Real Techniques that I'm actually going to declutter. The thing with Real Techniques is that I think they do have some really nice brushes, but my problem with them is that they do sell most of the times those brushes in sets or duos. For example, both of these are from duos, and I do like one brush of the duo, but then another brush I don't like, and then I cannot get the brushes individually, so that's a little bit annoying. The first brush from Real Techniques that I'm going to declutter is this Deluxe Crease brush, and this one came from a duo that I don't remember the name of, but I'm going to write it to the screen. The other brush from the duo I do like, and I'm going to share it later. I just don't see how I could use this one on my crease. This is really big and chubby brush, and it is really dense. I could never get a beautiful and precise look for my hooded eyes with this one, so this one I am going to declutter. Then the other brush that I'm going to declutter is this Instapop shade brush. So this came from the Real Techniques Instapop Eye set, I think it is. I do have another brush from the set and I do like it, and I'm going to share it a little bit later, but this is like a really large brush. I might be able to set my eyeshadow primer with this one if I used an eyeshadow, for example, but when I'm setting my eyeshadow primer I usually just use powder and the same brush that I use to set my under eye with. I really don't need this brush, I never use it, so I'm going to declutter it. Okay, let's move on. I do have here next my eyeshadow blender brushes. I do have 4 that are a little bit larger and 2 that are a little bit smaller. I'm going to keep all of these because I do really like all of these. I maybe use them for a little bit different colors or a little bit different purposes, but I think there is a place for all of these in my collection. And I think I do need a couple of more of these smaller ones, but it is my no-buy year right now and makeup brushes are not something that I can buy during my no-buy year, so maybe next year. But yeah, these I am going to keep. So I'm quickly sharing these larger ones with you first. I do have from Sigma their E40 eyeshadow blending brush. This is probably the most hyped ever blending brush. For my hooded lids, it's maybe a little bit too big to my crease, but it's something I like to use for my very first transition shade. Then I do have from Sigma their E35 eyeshadow blender brush, and this one I do like a little bit more than the E41. It's cut a little bit differently and I think it's just a little bit smaller, so I think with that one I do have a little bit more control if I go to my crease. Then I do have from Real Techniques this beige shadow brush, and this came from the set with that deluxe crease brush. This one is a really nice blending brush because it is a little bit pointed, so I think with this one, if I want to go to my crease with fluffy brush like this, I think I do have kind of like a little bit more precise application. And then the last bigger blender brush that I do have is this one from Real Techniques. This is the brush number 6 from the Rose Romance brush set. This one is a little bit smaller than the brushes I showed previously, but I think it's a little bit more dense. So I wish it was just a little bit more fluffy. In that case, it would probably be like the perfect transition color brush for me, but it's just a little bit dense. But I think this is an awesome brush to blend some deeper eyeshadows with, so I'm going to keep it. Then I do have from Sigma their E25 blending brush. This is a little bit more small and it's a little bit pointed. I really do love this brush. It's so perfect to bring in some deeper eyeshadow to my outer corner and to blend it to my crease. It's super dirty, by the way. I'm sorry these brushes are dirty. I haven't washed them and that was one reason why I wanted to do this video today, because after filming this I'm going to wash all of my brushes and after that I'm going to wash them every single week. Then I do have from Sigma this another brush. It's their E45 small tapered blending brush, and this I use if I bring super deep eyeshadows like black or super deep browns to my outer corner. I like to just tap my brush to the eyeshadow and bring it in and blend it a little bit. I did learn that from Kitty Snack. She was recommending to use this brush for black eyeshadow and I must say it works. So yes, I'm going to keep this one. Next I want to talk about this brush set from EcoTools. It's really old, I have had to put some tape there, but the brushes themselves are still in great condition. So this is this duo set from EcoTools with 2 brushes with 2 heads. So there is 4 brush heads. I don't really like these kind of brushes because I do store my brushes upside down like this, but these brushes I do enjoy, so I am going to keep them, but I'm not sure if I would repurchase these, maybe not, but I must say I do love these. There is this one brush with eyeshadow shader brush. I do really like it. I use it most of the times if I want to bring in matte eyeshadow to my whole lid. I think for some reason this works perfectly. Then there is this angled brush. As I said previously, I really don't use this kind of brushes to apply eyeshadow, but it is there if I need it. Then this another brush of this set I use almost every single day. I use this on my lower lash line. Usually I first bring a transition set to my lower lash line with this little bit bigger side, so I bring it like this. This one also works to bring in some deeper eyeshadow to my crease or outer corner. And then there is this Smudge eyeshadow brush that I bring in a little bit deeper eyeshadow and smudge it to my lower lash line. Okay, then let's move on to eyeshadow shader brushes. So brushes that I use to bring eyeshadow to my whole lid. I do have quite many of these. I don't use all of these and I don't like all of these. The thing is that my favorite tool to bring eyeshadow to my lid is my finger. I just think finger works the best. I don't still want to declutter all of these, but I don't need all of them either. So I do have these two brushes from BH Cosmetics and these are my favorite brushes from these. These are really flat, unlike the other ones, so I think I can get the most kind of like precise application with these. Also, these are the best brushes if I want to wet my brush. So these I am going to keep. One is a little bit larger, it may be that it's meant for concealer, but I use it to bring in eyeshadow to my whole lid, and then this one is a little bit smaller, and these I do enjoy. Then there is this Real Techniques Instapop Crease Brush, and this one came from the Instapop set that came with the larger brush too. I do really like it and I do want to keep this one. Then I do have this e.l.f. Eyeshadow C Brush, and when I first got it I really did like it. It's not that flat than the BH Cosmetics brushes, for example. It's a little bit thicker and I just don't really like to use this kind of brushes anymore to apply eyeshadow to my lid. So I never use this, so I actually don't want to keep it. There is not really a purpose for this one in my collection. Then I do have a couple of these Real Techniques shading brushes, and same thing is with this one than the Eyeshadow C Brush from e.l.f. I don't use this kind of brushes to bring in eyeshadow to my whole lid anymore. The only case when I do use brushes like this is if I'm going for matte eyeshadow, then I'm using this eyeshadow brush from EcoTools. I think there is something in the bristles that picks the matte eyeshadow so beautifully, and also it's not like super thick, I think, so this works really well. But these, I have really never liked them that much, and I have no idea why I have bought two of them. However, I do like to use this kind of brush if I'm bringing a shimmery eyeshadow or highlighter to my brow bone. So for example, today I did bring my highlighter to my brow bone, and I think it is a great brush there because the size is so small. These are way smaller than the e.l.f. Eyeshadow C Brush, and I think this works beautifully there. And for that reason I'm going to keep one of these, but one of these I'm trying to find a new home for. And now that we are talking about highlighting my brow bone, I do have a couple of this kind of larger brushes that I have been using to that purpose. So I think I'm going to keep this brush from BH Cosmetics. It's what I use if I'm bringing a matte eyeshadow to highlight my brow bone. I think I can get nice application with this one. It is maybe a little bit big, but I think it blends the product beautifully in. The brush I did use previously for that was this brush from the Urban Decay Naked One palette, and I did use this bigger side, and I think it is good brush under my eyebrow. But the thing is that I do not like two-headed brushes that much anymore, and I don't think this brush is so special that I should keep it. This eyeshadow shader brush I never use. I just don't think it picks product that well. I don't know what it is in this one. Then I do have here some brushes that I use on my lower lash line. So these are more or less like pencil brushes. There is this one brush from Real Techniques that is Smudge Brush. This was actually their Smudge and Diffuse Duo that I bought, and it also does come with this Precision Smudge Brush. So this Precision Smudge Brush is like a pencil brush really, and this is more like a smudge brush. And both of these I do really enjoy. They are something I can bring in color to my lower lash line with. Then I do have this Sigma E30 pencil brush, and this one I actually mostly use when I'm bringing in the highlighter to my inner corner, and also I use this one if I want to bring something light to my lower lash line. Then I do have one more pencil brush. This is from BH Cosmetics Rose Romance Brush Set, and I'm going to keep it. Okay, we are almost done. There is only 3 more brushes left, and first is this e.l.f. small smudge brush. This is not something I use every single day, but I do still want to keep it in the candle holder. I do use this sometimes if I do kind of like a pencil eyeliner and then I put on false lashes. In that case, I may sometimes go to the top of the eyeliner and the false lash line with deep eyeshadow, and I like to use this brush then. So yeah, it's a little bit random, but I actually do like this brush, so I'm going to keep it. I do have here one eyeliner brush. So this one is the BH Cosmetics brush from the Rose Romance set. I don't have a gel eyeliner currently, but I have still actually tried this because when I did run out of my eyeliner, I had already ordered another one in the beginning of the year, but I still hadn't gotten the package of my new eyeliner. So I had to be a little bit creative, and guess what I did? I did use this black liquid lipstick as my eyeliner, and I used this brush. I don't necessarily think that this black lipstick was the best, like it did work, but I did have to do a couple of layers to get like black application. But this brush is really nice actually. I think it's really precise and I can get a really precise thin application. So this is something I want to keep, but because I do not have gel eyeliner currently in my collection, I'm going to store this one in this makeup bag. So it's actually the only brush today that is going to go here. Then last but not least is this Real Techniques Lash Brow Groomer. I really do like this. It is this lash comb with actual metal bristles. I don't like those plastic ones. They are just so kind of like cheap in my opinion, and they also tend to have those thick sides that are just on my way. This brow side I don't really use that much, I don't like it, but the lash comb side is just my favorite. So yes, this I'm going to keep. Okay, so those were all of my eye brushes. Let me count how many brushes I decided to keep in my candle holder. So 21 brushes I decided to keep here. I know I do have there multiples of some brushes, but I'm fine with it because with eye brushes I actually do need those multiples more than for example with face brushes. Then one brush I did put away for now, but I'm still going to keep. And then there are 6 brushes that I'm going to declutter, and I'm glad that I'm letting these go. They are really not adding anything to my collection. Well, this Real Techniques shading brush I do like under my eyebrow, but I don't need 2 of them. Isn't it just my luck to run out of battery when I'm just finishing my filming? Like I was just about to say thank you for watching, blah blah blah, and then I did run out of battery. But anyways, that was really everything for today. I know there wasn't that many brushes I decluttered, but all of those that I did, I don't really need. All of those that I kept, I think I do really need, and I do enjoy them. And I'm pretty happy with my brush collection. The only thing what I wish, or what I think I will buy after my no buy year, is a couple of more of those smaller blending brushes to be used in my crease or in the outer corner. But yeah, that was everything for today. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video. Bye bye.